Hi friends, thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm going to be trying all the new makeup so that you don't have to, giving you reviews on everything that I've been testing that has been newer to the market. And I'm so glad to be back. The past 4 videos, if you have watched, have been pre-filmed. I have been on vacation, so this is my first time filming in like a month. I also did get a little bit of a haircut. It's not like a big difference. I did get some like side bangs, a little bit more of like framing pieces and layers in my hair. So new all around. This is the makeup look that we created using a lot of the new and popular trendy makeup. So if you want to see what is new, what I've been testing out, and my thoughts, then let's go. I went ahead and did eyes off of camera, so I'll quickly go over what I used. So this is a swatch of everything, my little color palette. It's giving like pinky brown, so for the base, I went in with my Nabla Cupid's Bow eyeshadow stick in the shade number 1 Nude, just all the way from the inner corner all the way out. I did use tape to get that crisp line. Then I put this pinky shimmer on top. This is from Moira, their Starshow shadow pot. So I just put that all over on top of that Nabla eyeshadow stick. And I am still testing out and trying out this Kokie underlined kajal eyeliner in Cheeky Chiku. That's this brown, very smudge resistant. I did my eyeliner with that as well. And for lashes, these have been my favorite lashes of late. I've been wearing the NYX Cosmetics Wispy Flutter. I had to write the name on here. This is the packaging that it comes in, but it doesn't have the lash name, so that's the only downside for these. But this little case is great for travel, and I haven't touched my Ardell's. I haven't touched my Jeju lashes. Shocking, I know. And then for mascara, I have been wearing my Flower Beauty Warrior Princess mascara. Really like these for the top lashes. It gives a lot of volume. I've never had any smudging or flaking. However, I will say this mascara does take a while to dry, like a couple minutes extra than other mascaras. All right, let's put on this base. So first new makeup item. I'm sure all of you guys have seen these floating around the internet. I have the Glow Recipe Hue Drops. I got these during the Sephora sale. I was so freaking excited. I love the original, especially as a makeup primer. So I'm gonna give these a good shake. This is what it looks like straight out of the tube. It looks pretty scary. I'm just gonna put these on one side of my face so we can see the difference. So I have the Hue Drops just on this side of the face. It's extremely subtle, so if you have been wanting bronzing drops like are very subtle and easy to blend in, that aren't patchy, that don't look like dirt on your face, that don't adhere to dry patches or peach fuzz, this is a really nice option. I did put some on the back of my hand, so compared to my normal body skin, I have put some on here. So it is very subtle, but I like that. Compared to the original Niacinamide Dewdrops, this is thicker in consistency, which makes sense because it does have an actual pigment. I also don't think that these Hue Drops are as hydrating as the original. I just love how even it is. It does give a very subtle kind of glow, and it works really well with water-based foundations. Speaking of water-based, I have been testing out and enjoying the Covergirl Essence. I'm sure you guys have seen this like all over TikTok and everything. I have the shade Medium 40. I also have been trying out the Beautyblender Bounce Skin Tint. I did get this during the Sephora sale. This shade is my winter shade, and it's perfect as a winter shade, but I am kind of at my baseline skin tone, so when I'm not pale and when I'm not tan, this is what my skin looks like, and this is just a smidgen too light, so I have been experimenting mixing this with the hue drops. I'm still figuring out if these are fighting with each other or if I can make this work, because I do want to show you guys how this applies to the skin, because spoiler alert, I do like this. However, I do like this more, but there are some cons to this, which I will go over. So for application, I give it a good shake, and you really have to work those pigments in. Now, there's a couple of different base products exactly like this, like the Rose Ink one was the first one I ever saw, and also Chanel has their Le Beige foundation of the same consistency. And this one, as you can see, there's still little balls that I have to really work in, and it is extremely watery and runny. So I don't completely break down the pigment in my palm just because it does start to get a little bit messy. So I will just finish breaking them down as I rub it onto my skin. This is for the girlies that love a skin tint. This is truly a skin tint. You are not gonna get medium coverage with this. Don't think oily skin is going to like this. I like to apply this with a brush. I haven't tried it with a sponge. Honestly, I've been a little wary of doing that just because I'm afraid it will like lift off. And I do go in pretty quickly. I feel like if you don't go in immediately, if you let it sit for too long, it will start to set down and it can be like a little patchy. So I do really like this. However, application might turn some people off. As someone with dry skin, as someone who prefers a light to medium kind of coverage, this is everything that I want and more. Like, I am more than willing to go through those extra steps and just working around some of the quirks of this product. But as you can see, I'll turn my light off. It gives a beautiful glow. Now, it does look glowy even without the Glow Recipe hue drops. Very much like my skin. That's my favorite part about this. It gives like the About Face kind of finish, where the About Face one also just looks like your skin, like it melts in with your skin immediately. You can't tell that you're wearing a foundation. It does really well in these areas where I do struggle with like dryness and cracking and caking up with foundation. It even does well around my nose. Some foundations do not want to stick to my nose. I think the key is to keep as little product on the nose as possible, because I have noticed that if I put too much moisture on my nose and then I try to go in with a product like this, it is patchy and it doesn't want to adhere and it looks very separated. Overall, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. As I'm blending out my concealer, I wanna give a shout out to this Kosas sponge. I got this during the Sephora sale, and this has become my favorite beauty sponge. It is $14, so it's not Real Techniques or AOA Studio kind of pricing, but I just love this really pointy end of the sponge. It's the best for concealer or setting your concealer with powder, because it really just lets you get right up in that nook. And also, I'm going to be listing my foundation shades in every single description box of my videos, just in case if we are shade match buddies or just similar, to help you whenever I am testing out a foundation or a concealer, just to help with reference for that. Going back in with my newly broken Kosas powder, I'm going to be using the sponge. This is not a new product, but a new product to me. I did get it during the sale, and I've really been liking it all over the face, but specifically on the under eyes. And this shade is really good for brightening. This is very dry skin friendly, and especially if you have trouble finding powders, that work for your under eyes and don't make them look super dry and crepey and aged, this Kosas Cloud Set Powder is really, really nice. I have been liking the NYX Pro Fix Stick. I use mine in the shade Soft Beige, number 7. There's that shade number 7. I don't like this underneath the eyes, but for spot concealing, this is perfect. This doesn't dry quickly. It gives you plenty of time if you want to let your concealer sit. It is very creamy and soft matte with really, really good coverage. I have been liking this Iconic London Rollaway Glow Highlighter. I have this shade Champagne Chic, which is their lightest shade, and this reminds me a lot of my beloved About Face Light Lock Highlight Fluid. Now, if you didn't see my community tab post, I thought that they had discontinued this because it wasn't on their website. They took it off of all of their retailer sites, but turns out they were just repackaging it. This is the About Face in Shaken or Stirred, and on this side is the Iconic London Champagne Chic. Main differences between these: the About Face one feels like a dry oil. It has a more oily texture. They both do set down. This doesn't feel oily at all. It feels extremely thin. This is, if you can believe it, more blinding and more pigmented than the About Face one. I do feel like the Iconic London one right here does look more glittery and more artificial compared to the About Face one over here. I do think the effect of this one is just more lived in and looks more melded in with the rest of your base and cheek products, whereas this one is quite a statement. And if you look up close, you can see like tiny, tiny little glitter particles. If you were wondering like overall which one is better, it's still gonna be the About Face one. But if you were interested like I was in this product, you won't be disappointed. And my favorite way to apply these kind of liquid highlighters is always with the finger. I just feel like it warms up the product, and sometimes with a sponge or brush, it can like lift off the product. Like, just the tiniest little speck of this product. Next is bronzer, and I have two. So I got the Sculpt Stick from Milk during the Sephora sale. This is in the shade Stoked. I also have the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Contour Wand. I can say I do like these more than the e.l.f. contour wands. Me and the e.l.f. ones have been beefing. I need to make another makeup I've changed my mind about. I have already done one of those. I will leave right here, but there are a couple of products that I have decided to break up with. I think the e.l.f. contour ones, unfortunately, are going to be in that video. Like this video, so you can let me know if you want to see another makeup I've changed my mind about. I don't have any issues with this product except for the shade range. This is the darkest shade in medium to deep. This is definitely not going to cover deep skin tones. I really like how this has a lock, so you can twist it like that, so you can push the product, or you can lock it and no product will come out, and it's just like a snap closure. It's not a twist off like the e.l.f. A huge pro to this product that the e.l.f. one does not have is that you can leave it on your skin for a couple of seconds and still blend it out and it not be patchy. And it does blend out very quickly. Yes, it does have that classic butter bronzer scent. It's not as strong as in their pressed powder products. You definitely have to like get it up close to your nose to smell. Doesn't have that much shine to it. It's definitely not matte, but it's not dewy. It's somewhere in between. Yes, it is like twice as expensive as the e.l.f. contour ones, but this formula isn't patchy. It doesn't lift off of itself. It performs consistently, unlike the e.l.f. ones. Just for funsies, just because I do want to show you guys the Milk Contour Stick. Now, I've said before, I am familiar with the bronzer version. This is that shade Swatched. Again, it's the shade Stoked. Really good contour shade for someone who is medium or even maybe like medium dark could get away with this. So I'm just gonna tuck that in right above the ears. These Milk sticks, they're blush sticks, they're highlighter sticks, like they just know what they're doing. They're super user-friendly, they're super creamy, they don't dry out, and they're just so easy to blend. They don't lift off of itself. Like, only downside actually, I was reminded of this packaging. It's not like the size of it. I know people are like, oh my god, it's so much smaller. You get 5 grams of product, which is very standard for a lot of cream stick products like this. Honestly, a lot of bronzer blush sticks come with less product than this, so there's plenty of product. That's not the issue. I'm twisting and it's not going down. So at some point, something happens inside where it's just not catching, and I do have to manually press this down. Back in the day when I had their highlight and bronzer sticks, they would do the exact same thing. It's not a deal breaker for sure, but because this is like an issue that's been going on for a while, like 6 years ago when I was using the bronzer and highlight, this packaging was still like that. I do hope that they hear that criticism and change whatever mechanism is not catching the product to pull it back down. Onto our lip combos. So these aren't new, but I never hear anyone talking about these. I did get this recommendation from Julia Adams. She's my favorite here on YouTube. Go check her out. But I never see anyone talk about Freck Beauty's lip products. I honestly had no idea that they even had lip liners. So I got 2 of their Makeout Club Nude Muse lip liners. And I also got their Makeout Club Soft Blur lipstick. Here are some swatches. So the lip liners, I have shade 5. And then this lighter one is shade 3, and in their Soft Blur lipstick, I have the shade Main Character. I have discovered these are the longest wearing lip pencils you can get at Sephora. However, they do have some cons in my opinion. First of all, these are like $18-ish, and the amount of product that you get is the least amount of product I have in any of my lip liners. I went through all my lip liners, looked at the ounces, the grams, and this has the least amount of product. And a lot of my favorite affordable lip liners like About Face and Moira Cosmetics have twice as much lip product in here for half the price, so do with that what you will. Also with the lipstick, it's the same kind of idea. This has half the amount of product compared to a lot of like standard bullet size lipsticks. Not so much for the Soft Blur lipstick, but definitely for the lip pencils because they are so long wearing. These do sit down, they are extremely matte, but a soft blurring like velvety matte. You absolutely do need some kind of chapstick or lip balm underneath before going in with these. If you go in with dry lips, that's when the matte texture of this makes your lips, shows all of the fine lines of your lips and makes them look dry. For today, I'm gonna go in with the lighter of the 2. This is shade number 3. If you are someone like me who does like to go over like multiple times, maybe you want to add a little bit more overline or like whatever the case may be, You have to go quickly with these. I don't recommend going in with the first layer and letting it set because I do struggle with applying more layers on top of this as it dries down. Sometimes I like to go in with like a lighter lip liner and then go in with a darker one like the number 5 just on the top and bottom to really contour my lips. But with this kind of formula, it doesn't really work. You would have to go in really fast. Like as soon as you apply the first lip liner, you immediately have to go in with the darker one if you're trying to go for that contoured look. Just because, again, with the dry down, it is very hard to blend like these two colors together. Also, these are a twist up. I do prefer a wood tip sharpenable kind of lip liner, but it is very easy to get like a precise edge with these. However, out of both of these products, the lipstick or the lip liners, once I run out of these, I'm not quite sure if I would repurchase. I think I need a little bit more time to get used to the application of these, but I definitely would consider repurchasing the lipstick out of both of those. This is way easier, it's more user-friendly. I think more people are just going to get along with this formula. It is also a soft matte formula, but it doesn't dry down. It doesn't settle in the fine lines of the lips. It's very blurring. This is way more forgiving and hydrating of a product. This is a close-up of the final look. I do want to give a shout out to my top 3 favorites of the new products I shared with you guys. So first being the Essence. I love this. I think it looks so beautiful, especially in these areas, my problem areas around the mouth, when I get dry, when I have weird bumps and texture. This sits beautifully. And for the other 2, I'm gonna have to give it to the bronzing contour products. This is the best liquid bronzer I have tried from the drugstore, and this is a classic formula just in a contour shade. I trust both of these with my makeup life. I think they work beautifully together. If you want a super bronzy sculpted look, these are the way to go. And honorable mention to the Hue Drops. I feel like these are definitely not necessary, so that's why I didn't put it in the top 3, but it is a fun product. It does work. If you've been interested in this, I don't think you'll be disappointed. That is all from me today. If you want more tutorials, reviews, get ready with me's, and other makeup things, then like, comment, subscribe. I am sending you guys so much love and light, and I will see you in the next one.